Well, we are fresh off the Palmetto Championship and a victory, the first ever on the PGA Tour for Garrett Higgo. Now let's get into that, as well as, of course, turn the calendar to the U.S. Open. It's major talk time with Jason Sobel from the Action Network. I'm Adam Kaufman. Jason, how's it going?
Great. Good to be at Torrey Pines. Can't wait to get out and see the course a little bit and try to talk to some of these players, figure out what's exactly going to happen this week. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a great week.
Well, I want to know what's going to happen with Jon Rahm, because he is at the top of the leaderboard on the DK Sportsbook, plus 1050 odds to go out and win this thing. But as we know, he's coming off a situation in which, led for a few rounds and then a positive COVID test wound up sidelining him, hasn't been able to golf since. So what should we expect from him?
Yeah, I think Rahm's going to be playing mad this week, and Rahm tends to play pretty well when he gets mad. So I think this is a good spot for him. Look, the U.S. Open over the last 5 years, and this is something that I'm going to repeat over and over this week, but over the last 5 years, we've seen big, strong, athletic players win this golf tournament. Brooks Koepka twice, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Gary Woodland. What they all have in common is they're big, strong dudes. They can get it out of the rough. Jon Rahm fits the profile perfectly. He's also played really well at Torrey Pines over the years. It claimed his first PGA Tour victory back in 2017 at this very event, at this venue. So I do like Jon Rahm a lot. I think he's deserving of being the favorite. I do think there are some question marks around some of those other elite level players. And it's sort of a chance to kind of look at a guy who hasn't won since last August on the PGA Tour. But like I said, I think he's a worthy favorite. I don't know that I'm chasing that number this week, but I do like.
All right, let's talk about some of those other elite golfers, obviously behind Rahm in terms of their odds to win this. At plus 1,500, you have a pack here. Dustin Johnson, you have Xander Schauffele, of course, DraftKings' own Bryson DeChambeau, and it's an interesting trio. You can tell me who stands out to you among this group. DJ in particular, of course, coming off a solid performance, top 10 at Palmetto. Does he give you enough comfort, confidence to roll with him this week?
All three of those guys, Adam, are guys that I like. It's hard not to like them, but I don't love any of them. I'm not picking any of those guys to win. So to chase those numbers, I think you've got to really love those guys this week. You've got to be a big DJ guy, a big Xander, big Bryson guy, and really like those guys a lot if you're going to be placing a bet on them. For me, I like them. I could see any of those three guys winning this golf tournament. If I've got to pick one, I'm probably going with Dustin over Bryson and Xander, but it's really, really close. I'm not sure I can separate the three, and that's probably why they all have the same odds coming into this one.
Well, then once again, you have to pick one. I'm going to make you choose here, and it's between Jordan Spieth, plus 1,900, and similar odds for, of course, Bryson's really, really good friend, Brooks Koepka. Who is the greater upside out of these two?
Okay, this one I can choose. I like Brooks a lot this week. Hey, it's a major championship week. We like Brooks Koepka. I mean, time and again over the last handful of years, we've tried to say Brooks can't do this. He can't just go miss cuts at other events and then show up at a major and flip the switch and all of a sudden say, hey, I'm going to play well now and start playing elite level golf. And yet he does it every single time. He did it at the PGA just last month at Kiowa. So I think that Brooks is going to have a really, really solid week. I don't think this is a great course for Jordan Spieth. He's stopped playing in the Farmers Insurance Open a little bit. I just don't think it suits his eye. There was talk of a little ankle issue early in the week. So I'm all aboard Team Brooks this week in this one.
You mentioned the Farmers Insurance Open, and it's a good segue to Patrick Reed because, as we know, shot really well at that thing, won it at this same course, minus 14 for that event. And he has longer odds for this tournament here at the U.S. Open, plus 2,500 on the DK Sportsbook. What do you make of him this week?
Well, the only comp we have to the U.S. Open and Farmers Insurance Open, both being played at Torrey Pines in the same year, is back in 2008 when, of course, Tiger Woods won both of them. And you look at it and you say, well, yeah, but he was Tiger Woods. But maybe there's some correlation. I do think that this course doesn't necessarily change as much as some other courses. There are other places that you can play them in January, then play them in June, and there would be a completely different golf course there. I think this one stays somewhat similar for this event. So I do think that the sight lines, the angles should still treat Patrick Reed pretty well. So I do like Reed this week. I've got him in my top 10. I think somewhere in the back end of that top 10 after the top 5. So yeah, I like him again. Don't necessarily love him, but can I see him winning this golf tournament? Yeah, absolutely. When he gets on a roll, he gets on a good roll. And that's what we saw at Torrey earlier this year from him.
With this being a major event, of course, Jason, the odds have been on the DK Sportsbook for quite a while now. Any odd shifts during that time that have caught your eye?
Adam Scott has not played his best golf recently, and his number has drifted just a little bit. That makes me like him a little bit more. Like I said, he has not really contended really since before the pandemic last year. And so it's hard to jump on Adam Scott and be really confident in it. But if you're looking for a bigger number from a guy who's capable of winning a major championship, that's one number that I think I look at and say, I can see some value in that one there.
I'm looking for longer odds, long shots. Who do you like?
Depends how long you want to go. I can give you somewhat long. Jason Kokrak is a guy who is completely undervalued in the marketplace. He's still being priced as if he's a pretty good PGA Tour player. He's better than pretty good. He's got 2 wins, one of only 3 players with 2 wins on the PGA Tour this season. He's a really, really good player. I like him for a top 5 this week, so I think he's completely undervalued. If you want to go way down the list, I can look at Shane Lowry. I can look at Gary Woodland. I like their numbers. They're capable of winning majors. We've seen it from them in the past. If you want just complete total long shot flyers, I'll give you 3 names, Adam. Justin Suh, who plays really well on the West Coast. Sahith Theegala, same thing, young guy, played at Pepperdine. And Chan Kim, a big dude who, again, fits that profile of a guy who can hammer balls out of the rough. So, look, I'm not saying any of those guys are going to win, but you want to play some top 20, top 30, top 40 props on those 3 guys, I do like them.
All right, so those guys you shouted out I know you like, but who you fading? Who you staying away from this week?
Since the 2017 PGA Championship, Sergio Garcia has played in 13 majors. He's missed the cut in 11 of them and failed to finish in the top 50 in the other 2. At some point, we look at Sergio and say, it's not just a coincidence, it's a pattern. Something is wrong with his game right now for the major championships. I actually like the way Sergio's been playing. I like the way he's driving the golf ball. He's second on the PGA Tour in strokes gained off the tee right now. But until he shows me that he can play better in a major championship, he's a fade for me in the big ones.
Here's what it's all about right now, though, Jason. Who is your pick to win the U.S. Open?
I'm going with an older player who has some ties to this event, who would be a great story if he finally wins this one. No, it's not Phil Mickelson. I'm going with Paul Casey, another Arizona State guy. But Casey, I think, has derived some inspiration. I spoke with him a few times during the PGA Championship where he said he was rooting for Phil Mickelson. He wanted Phil to win. And I think he's going to get some inspiration from that. He's played better at the majors over the last few years, especially at the U.S. Open. It was 17th last year at Winged Foot. So I like a guy that can, like I said, and I keep repeating myself, but guys who can gouge the ball out of the rough. Paul's got these big old forearms. He can get under the ball, hits a high ball. I think that's going to help this week. And so I'm not completely confident in it, but I do like the number next to his name, and I do like Paul Casey this week.